Today we're going to be playing a game called Shadow of Forbidden Gods. This is sort of a grand strategy god game where we play as an evil god and try and destroy the world. As you can see, we have a bunch of different gods we can select and play with, each with their own unique mechanics. We're going to play as the default first god, She Who Will Feast, a godworm, a terrible creature from the blackest of void between stars who has lain dormant for millennia of years until the stars are ripe for her hatching. A time will come when she will devour the world and journey forth to lay her brood, dooming other worlds to be consumed by her offspring. So let's just get into it. We'll have the settings mainly on default for everything. Welcome to the world. As you can see, the world is divided up into various different countries and kingdoms. We even have an orcish kingdom up here, the Wuyun Hill Horde, and another one here. So 2 orcish tribes, and then we have an underworld. Here we can see the dwarven kingdoms that live under the world. We probably won't interact with them much in this episode. I'd like to defeat the human kingdoms without going underground if possible. But how do we do anything? So our god, if you've played Dominions, it's a little similar to that. Our god is sealed, and every few turns, she will break a seal and gain access to newer powers that we can use. Once her seals are fully broken, she will awaken into the world as a giant snake worm and try to devour the world. We'll see how much damage we can do to humanity before that happens, so that she can have an easy time of it when she does appear. Since we aren't actually a nation, our main way to impact the world is through our agents. We start with this one, the supplicant. Agents can do all sorts of things. They can travel around, sabotage, or spread the shadow. There's 2 ways for us to win. There is to kill enough of the world that there's not enough of humanity left to resist us, or we can enshadow the world, basically driving humans into a sort of apathetic state where they just accept the vile evils. We also have a bunch of different agents that we can recruit. We have these unique agents, which once they die, we can't replace them. And then we have these generic agents that we can make as many as we want. We're going to try and bring about the destruction of the world through a combination of Enshadowment and getting the humans to kill each other. Our first agent we're going to recruit outside of our supplicant is the courier. Our goal is to kind of cause this very big queendom, which controls most of the world at the start. We want to kind of collapse it and force it to go to war with lots of other nations if we can. And to do that, we're going to use our courier. In order for us to do things in locations, we need to first infiltrate them and build a cult inside them. How easy it is to do this is based on the intrigue of the character. When it comes to doing things in locations, you can see that each action has a color. The color dictates usually which stats are used for it. For example, you can see infiltrating here is purple, which means it uses the intrigue stat. But if you look here, if we wanted to intrigue the markets in this city, it would take us around 38 turns, and that's quite a long time. That's due to the security score. So instead, we're going to nip around to this Fort of Disserer and start infiltrating there, which only takes 19 turns, much faster. Once we infiltrate this fort, it will also decrease the security of neighboring locations because the cult essentially will spread its ties to those outer locations. With our supplicant, we're going to go for a second objective. Down here, there is a covenant. These are very good locations to corrupt and make into conduits of our vile influence. So we're going to have our supplicant just head over and start infiltrating it in preparation for turning it into such a vile location. The supplicant has arrived. He will begin infiltrating. There are 2 locations in this location, a holy site and a catacombs. And to fully infiltrate the location, we have to infiltrate both. So we'll just begin doing so. This is a random event that sometimes pops up when we're doing challenges. It usually gives a choice between various things, as well as abandoning the challenge and losing all our progress. We're going to choose to increase profile. Profile and menace are the 2 ways that your agents become detected. Someone with a very high profile will be known by everyone. Menace dictates how many crimes they've committed or how hated they are in the world. So, for example, someone with 1,000 profile but 0 menace is going to be known by everyone, but nobody's really going to care about them. Whereas somebody with 0 profile but 1,000 menace would be hated by literally everybody, but they're not really going to know about them. Someone with 1,000 profile and 1,000 menace will be hated by everyone, and basically everyone is going to head from all over the world to try and murder them. So it's best to try and keep these 2 things low. They increase through your actions, and the way it works is you have a minimum, which is always going to be a third of your highest number. So we can see our profile has increased to 15 on its own, and so the minimum has become 5. So we can decrease it, but never below 5. And as we increase it, get higher and higher numbers, the floor will increase more and more, making it so eventually characters, they kind of become bombs that kind of just go off because it becomes impossible to keep their menace and profile low. Our god has broken the first of her seals, giving access to a new ability called the Eye of Shadows. The Eye of Shadows allows us to infiltrate somewhere in a territory, allows us to infiltrate one of the locations in a territory instantly at the cost of 2 power. So what we're going to do is we're going to use it on the Covenant, because we haven't successfully infiltrated anything here. We're going to hope that it infiltrates the one that we're not trying to infiltrate. Unfortunately, it did infiltrate the one we are currently trying to infiltrate, so we'll have to abandon that infiltration because it's essentially already over. Oh well. Well, now it's focused on infiltrating the Holy See. You can see our infiltration here is now increased to 50. If we hover over Enshadowment, we can see that we have a gain per turn of currently 0. And then you can see that there's wards blocking and infiltration adding. So if we had a gain here of, say, 1, we would get an extra 50% increase of 0.5 due to the infiltration. We're currently not gaining any infiltration here, any enshadowment here, but we are at 10 because our supplicant has a trait called the Dying Light, which increases shadow every turn by 1% in the locations he's in. Our headquarters, where we began, the Elder Tomb, also spreads shadow a little bit around. You can see the locations next to it are getting a 0.4 increase to their shadow. We've completed the infiltration of this fortress. We now have 100% infiltration here. You can see these vile tendrils that have started to spawn around the location to indicate our presence. And you can also see that security in the nearby locations has all dropped. These locations are now at 0 security because it's decreasing due to the infiltration in the nearby fort. The unique actions the courier has is to steal items from people in locations that have been infiltrated and then plant them on other people in order to cause scandals and make them hate each other. In this location, there is currently the ruler, as well as her offspring. One of the things we could do is steal something from her, give it to someone else to try and cause a strife between them. But for now, I don't think we're going to do that. Instead, we're just going to move down to this village and start infiltrating this one. It's a lot easier and faster to infiltrate it because of the low security. Our agent limit has increased, so we can recruit another agent. Who should we recruit next? We're going to recruit the Dissident. He's going to help us spread chaos a little further, as well as our intrigue. Just like with the courier, we're going to have him start infiltrating locations around the capital city of this nation. We finished the infiltration of the Covenant. You can now see it's 100% infiltration. Our supplicant has also leveled up. As they level up, characters gain access to basically boosts that increase one of their stats, or some unique traits. For example, we've got the stealthy trait, which allows him to lose 0.1 of his presence profile based on his intrigue. Since he has 4 intrigue, he'd lose 0.4 a turn. Instead of grabbing it though, we're going to grab intrigue, an intrigue buff to get his intrigue up to 5. We now have the option of desecrating this holy site. Destroy all that is holy in this place and turn it into a place of dark worship towards darker gods than it once served. It will continue to generate shadow and prevent it from being consecrated by heroes to save it. We could attempt to do that, but it requires shadows to be above 66%. Unfortunately, there are currently heroes here driving back the shadow, and they are going to finish doing this before we could desecrate it. So instead, what we're going to do, we're going to head to a nearby village and begin infiltrating it. What we would like to do is really spread around our actions to draw heroes away and to different locations. Now that we're in this location with our courier and we've infiltrated it, we're going to start stealing items belonging to the ruler. We want to start a strife between the ruling family, this Atris family, as well as the family of this lady here, the Bronze family. Both are quite large. They're actually siblings. My hope is that by starting strife between them, they'll start killing each other en masse, causing mayhem for everyone involved. We've successfully stolen this item. Now we're simply going to walk along to the capital. We'll have to infiltrate the capital as mentioned, but it shouldn't take that long as we've decreased security. It'll only take 15 turns. We successfully infiltrated the location, so now we're going to cause a scandal. We're going to cause this scandal with the Queen herself. Now we can see that the Queen now dislikes the lady from the other village. So now we're going to make this a mutual hatred by stealing an item from the Queen and taking it back. As we can see, bad events have started to now happen. The Queen is now sabotaging this Baroness. Their hatred for each other has grown. We've completed our scandal. Because we can see she now hates the Queen. Now we're going to begin infiltrating the capital. We'd like to gain access to the palace itself, though it's going to take quite a while, but we've reduced security down to just 1. But we're going to focus on this. The Queen has risen unrest in this location to 100 due to her hatred of the Baroness. This could easily spiral into a revolt. We've gained access to another agent. As we can see up here, this Covenant that we infiltrated the first time around is being combated by the heroes trying to drive back the shadow. So instead, we're going to go for this covenant down here that we've infiltrated. We're going to create a warlock. These are high lore ability characters. We're going to bring our warlock down to this province or location. And then in the location next to it where we have 13 shadow, he is going to begin casting a well of shadows. This magical spell will spread shadow from this location to all nearby locations. We'll use that to spread the shadow to the covenant so that we can corrupt it. Our well of shadows has been finished. You can see this horrible spiral has now appeared. If we look at nearby locations, they're now gaining Enshadowment from the well. We're going to have our warlock go up and start casting as many wells as we can in the nearby locations. We've managed to achieve our first fully enshadowed location up here in this town. Now the town is fully enshadowed, the ruler will begin to become enshadowed as well, and once he's fully enshadowed, the town and its ruler will now work towards our interests. Taking advantage of the sabotage that's being carried out in this village, we've increased unrest very high. Our goal is to increase it even higher. We'd like to trigger a revolt in this location, which our dissident is now doing. Now that we've fully finished infiltrating the capital of this nation, we're going to start inflaming flames, or inflaming tensions. This will decrease the opinion of this country by other countries. As we can see here, its relationship with the other nations, we want to decrease the good relations it has with those other nations. It'd be nice if it could spiral into some sort of massive global war with every nation declaring war on it. So we're going to dedicate quite a bit of time to inflaming these tensions. Now a revolt has triggered in this location. We're going to rally the mob to war. This results in the Baroness being killed and a new nation spawning. It's only a small one, but a civil war is a civil war. Our hopes that we can cause this to spiral into even more conflict. Unrest is quite high in nearby locations, so we're going to again continue to spread unrest. We've managed to increase the enshadowment within this cathedral covenant enough, so now we're going to desecrate it. It'll only take 8 turns, so we should be so fast the enemy can't stop us. We've managed to really decrease the international relationships with this nation, as you can see. It's very low with everyone they border. Our hopes is they will now start just going to war with each other massively. Unfortunately, our courier has been caught making all of his mischief and is now being attacked. Unfortunately, he was slain. Certain people don't like the fact that the courier was slain and now will begin hating the killer. And as the courier is dead, we can now replace him with someone else. Since our agent died in this province, we can actually see that his soul is lingering. We're going to use his soul to summon a harvester. A harvester is both a combat and mage unit. He can harvest the dead to increase his power, while at the same time he needs to do so to stay alive, essentially. We could have him study the secrets of death from the dead soul here, but instead what we're going to do is we're going to have him head straight for the Chosen One and fight her. The Chosen One is basically our main opposition in the world. She'll rally the various forces of good against us. We've also finishing desecrating this holy site. You can see now it's changed to this horrible, corrupted model, and will begin spreading shadow as if it was a conduit of our will. We're actually going to head down for the next covenant and do the same thing. You can see that as our shadow spreads, the world starts to become black in these locations that have become enshadowed. We can really see the enshadowment spreading. In fact, we've enthralled 33% of the world's population. We've managed to catch the Chosen One with our harvester. She should easily kill him. With his death, her entire family is now cursed. This now affects the Chosen One's entire family and reduces her max sanity, as well as theirs, to 4. That's very easy to drive them insane by doing certain actions. For example, if a family member dies, there's a good chance she'll just go insane, and her Chosen Oneness won't be as useful if she's mad. In fact, by going mad, she could become a servant of the vile powers, that being us. For our next maneuver, we're going to create another warlock up here in the north. Next to him, there is a witch coven. These are great places to spread corruption from. Once we infiltrate them, we'll be able to turn them into conduits of our malice, just like the corrupted churches. There's another holy site desecrated. We'll continue to spread our corruption through them. Now that we've gained power of the witches' coven, we can carry out an action called dark worship. This turns the witches' coven into a sort of corrupted church where it spreads shadow as if it was one. It does increase the malice of the location though, so there's a chance that human kingdoms will try to destroy it. So we'll try not to increase its malice too high. Luckily, they're actually right next door to a group of orcs. We could use it as a distraction by trying to increase their menace, making it so the humans would prioritize them instead. We're now going to create an orc warlord up here in this orcish tribe. What we're then going to have him do is challenge the Horde. This will let him fight the leader of the Orcish Horde for supremacy of the Horde. Unfortunately, the Orc Lord ran away during the battle, so we'll pursue him and murder him. Excellent. Now we can take this banner that makes our warlord the leader of this Orcish Horde. We'll now begin subjugating the Horde so that they now serve our will. Now that we have control of the Orcs, you can see that they're infiltrated the same way normal human civilizations would be. Now we're going to build an Orc raiding party. Now that we have our Orcish raiders, around 30 of them, we're actually going to bring them down and attack this small little kingdom here. It's only got around 29 soldiers, so our raiders should be able to fully destroy it, provided nobody gets in our way. You'll see that the heroes have been putting up these barriers all around the world to try and protect their locations from being enshadowed. Barriers, or wards as they're called, act a lot like the opposite of infiltration, whereas a infiltration increases the gain for enshadowment. Wards block it. At the highest level, they can even block it entirely. But luckily, we do have an agent who is good at removing these sort of things. We have the Exile. The Exile lives under the world, in the horrible catacombs below, and can venture up, kidnap people, and sacrifice them towards various goals. So we'll appoint her here in the underground tunnels. Then we'll have her head up to the human lands, kidnap some people. We've also fully defeated the Liang army. So now we'll begin razing the city of Lang. It's going to be quite hard for us to fully destroy it due to the defense of the city, but we will eventually destroy it if no one intervenes. Also, we're pillaging it, and any gold taken is taken back to our Orcish lands. Now that our exile has captured someone, she's going to bring them back into the tunnels, and now she's going to sacrifice them. She's going to do a sacrifice of night, which will remove all wards all over the planet. This will give the potential for heroes to become aware of the underground, but that's a small price to pay to remove all these wards. Our sacrifice of the night has been completed. All the wards have just vanished all at once. The heroes will of course start rebuilding them, but while they're gone, they're very vulnerable. We took advantage of the lack of wards to fully enshadow the capital of the Besses kingdom, which is still the largest kingdom in the world. Now that we've fully enshadowed the capital of the Besses Empire, we can summon the Monarch directly into it. The Monarch can now create a Dark Empire. In 13 turns, a Dark Empire will be created, and the kingdom of Bess, the largest human kingdom, will transform into our personal kingdom, the conduit of our will in the world. The Enshadowment is complete, and we won the game at the same time. The inhabitants of the world will no longer pose a threat to the god worm. Their souls rot inside them like plants choked of the sun, leaving them weak and defenseless. She who will feast will grow for some time before she consumes the world in its entirety and sets out into the inky blackness of the cosmos, seeking more worlds to consume, or possibly to lay a clutch of eggs and propagate her terrifying kind across the stars, as it was fated to be. We actually won before the godworm even got to appear. Here we can see the turn timeline. We can see the world slowly becoming more and more black as we take control, as it were, of these areas. There was the small rebellion there. You can see the darkness also spreading up here later when we set up the coven up there. You can see the heroes trying to push back the darkness in places as they create, and then the final hurrah. Here's our Dark Empire. A few kingdoms did rebel from it when it was initially created, but as you saw, we had already won by that point. Ruled by Mad Queen Vessus Atros. If we hadn't won, we would have then used our Dark Empire as a vehicle to conquer the world, as our monarch has the option of telling the Dark Empire to go on a crusade against other countries, even those who are enshrouded. A pretty fun game overall. This game in general is pretty fun. This is just one of the gods that I'm playing with here. There's also lots of different ways to play. We can go this sort of enshadowment route. We can go a sort of global civil war. We drive all the humans into killing each other. You can have an orc-based run where you just try and strengthen the orcs so much and have them just kill all the humans in the world. You can do a madness-based run where you just drive all the humans mad. You can start plagues and have that kill everybody. There's just so many different ways you can play this game. And that's not even taking into account the different gods which have their own playstyles and abilities. For example, we've got the Laughing King, who has a cursed book that drives people mad. This tree woman who basically blesses people with her abilities, and then those abilities eat them from the inside. This guy, he basically creates his own light cult to contrast the darkness, but he's both. He's both light and darkness, but he has a light cult that people think are the good guys, but it's actually just him. If you do want to check this game out yourself, it is £15 on Steam and regularly goes on sale for around 80% off. It even has a demo if you want to check it out. For now though, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.